The warning. The message arrived during the busiest hour of the Galactic Council's trading season. Across the massive crystalline chamber of the Universal Trade Center, thousands of species from every corner of the galaxy were negotiating deals, signing contracts, and managing the complex web of interstellar commerce. Then every screen, every hologram, every quantum display simultaneously flickered to life with the same transmission. To all galactic citizens, the message began, displayed in universal standard. This is the United Earth Government. We want to thank you for 70 years of friendship, trade, and cultural exchange. Humanity has reached a turning point in our evolution. We are leaving, but not goodbye. Consider this a see you later. High Counselor Zax 427, her crystalline form shimmering with anxiety patterns, immediately called an emergency session. The Trade Center's main chamber transformed into the Council's emergency configuration, with representative pods descending from hidden compartments in the vaulted ceiling. This must be another of their jokes, rumbled Ambassador Craxt of the Silicon Consciousness, his volcanic body venting steam in frustration. Like when they convinced half the galaxy their April Fools was a sacred Earth tradition, requiring everyone to tell lies for a day. But this was different. Within hours of the transmission, every human quantum communicator went silent. Every human ship in deep space transmitted the same brief message before vanishing from sensors. Earth's colonies on Mars, Venus, and the moons of Jupiter began systematically powering down their communication arrays. The Galactic Council dispatched its fastest scout ships to Earth. What they found sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. Earth's cities stood empty but pristine, as if humanity had simply stepped out for a moment. Vehicles were parked neatly. Homes were cleaned. Plants were carefully watered. Even the planet's automated systems continued running, maintaining everything in perfect order. It's like they're expecting to return, reported Captain Nixis of the scout ship Stellar Witness. Her feathered antennae twitched as she transmitted visuals of empty streets and vacant buildings. But our scan shows something unprecedented. The entire planet's power grid is operating at maximum capacity, yet we can't detect where that energy is going. In the council chamber, theories flew wild. Had humanity ascended to a higher plane? Had they discovered a way to phase shift into another dimension? Had they achieved what countless civilizations had theorized, but never managed, a complete species-wide evolutionary leap? The Silicon Consciousness ran probability matrices. The quantum collective accessed their time-space prediction engines. The Organic Confederation conducted planetary-scale bioscans. No one could explain how 8 billion humans had simply ceased to exist in conventional spacetime. Then they found the labs. Deep beneath every major human city, massive quantum computer complexes hummed with unimaginable power. The technology was like nothing any species had seen, a perfect fusion of organic and digital systems, operating on principles that defied conventional physics. They were planning this for decades, realized Dr. Ixel of the Science Academy, her bioluminescent patterns flashing with excitement as she studied the facilities. Every technological advancement they shared with us, every seemingly random scientific question they asked, it was all leading to this. The last human transmission had been no goodbye message. Embedded in the quantum signature of their farewell was a vast database, the sum of human scientific knowledge, except for one crucial piece. The secret of where they had gone and how they had managed it remained tantalizingly out of reach. In the final chamber of the deepest lab, a simple hologram flickered to life when the alien investigators entered. It showed a human scientist, smiling warmly. "We know you have questions," the hologram said. "Humanity hasn't abandoned the galaxy. We've evolved to explore it in ways we never imagined possible. When you're ready to understand, look for the quantum frequency pattern hidden in this message. We'll be waiting." As news spread across the galaxy, civilizations reacted with everything from terror to awe. Humanity, the youngest spacefaring race, had achieved something unprecedented. They hadn't just made a discovery. They had transformed their entire species through sheer determination and ingenuity. In the council chamber, High Counselor Zax 427 studied the final human transmission again. Her crystalline form resonated with the frequency that her species used to express deep contemplation. Perhaps, she addressed the council, we should have paid more attention when they kept insisting that their science fiction stories weren't just entertainment, but practice runs for the future. In the depths of space, on frequencies no conventional sensors could detect, patterns of energy pulsed and shifted. Humanity hadn't left. They had evolved into something new, something watching and waiting for the rest of the galaxy to catch up. And in their absence, they had left behind the greatest puzzle the galaxy had ever faced: the challenge of following in their footsteps. The search for humanity's final evolution had begun. The search. The stellar Concordat's research vessel, Truth Seeker, dropped out of quantum space above Mars, its crystalline hull reflecting the red planet's dusty glow. On the bridge, Admiral Vex 9 of the Science Fleet observed the abandoned human colony through multiple sensor arrays. Her species' compound eyes took in every wavelength of energy emanating from the sprawling dome cities below. Another pattern, her first officer reported, neural tendrils pulsing with excitement. The power signatures from their quantum cores aligned perfectly with the ones we found on Venus and Europa. They're creating some kind of network. The galaxy's greatest minds had spent 3 months studying humanity's abandoned worlds. What they found challenged everything they thought they knew about human technological capabilities. Each colony, each space station, each seemingly modest research facility was part of something larger, a vast web of quantum energy that somehow connected every human settlement in the solar system. They hid their true progress from us, Dr. Ilera mused, her photosynthetic skin dimming in thought. As the Concordat's leading xenoanthropologist, she had spent decades studying human culture. All those times they claimed to be struggling with quantum entanglement theory. They were perfecting it. Admiral Vex 9 finished. The humans never struggled. They were conducting the largest scientific misdirection in galactic history. Deep in the Martian colonies, research teams made breakthrough after breakthrough. The humans had left their basic technology running, but their advanced systems were encrypted with mathematics so complex that even the silicon consciousness's quantum computers struggled to comprehend them. "Look at this," called out Chief Engineer Crix, his crystalline appendages vibrating with excitement as he studied a human quantum processor. Their computers weren't just processing data, they were altering the fabric of space-time on a quantum level. Each calculation created microscopic folds in reality. The discovery sent shockwaves through the research fleet. Traditional physics said such manipulation was impossible. Yet somehow, humanity had not only achieved it, but had done so without any other species noticing. In a sealed chamber beneath Olympus Mons, they found their biggest clue yet. A vast chamber filled with tanks of what appeared to be ordinary water. But when analyzed, the liquid proved to be something else entirely. A medium capable of storing and transmitting quantum states across unlimited distances. They called it the Consciousness Bridge. Dr. Ilera reported to the emergency council session. Her hologram flickered before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. The humans found a way to transfer consciousness itself into a quantum state. But that's not the most remarkable part. She paused, her photosynthetic patterns shifting to indicate deep amazement. They didn't just transfer individual consciousness. They found a way to link every human mind together while maintaining individual identity. A species-wide neural network operating on quantum frequencies we can barely detect. The implications staggered the galactic community. Humanity hadn't disappeared. They had transcended physical form entirely. Every human settlement, every quantum core, every seemingly abandoned facility was part of the infrastructure supporting their transformed state. But the greatest shock came when they decoded part of the quantum signature hidden in humanity's final message. It contained a historical archive, showing how humans had planned this transformation for generations. What looked like random scientific advances, scattered breakthroughs, and even their entertainment media had all been carefully orchestrated steps toward this final evolution. They're science fiction stories, Admiral Vex-9 realized, reviewing the archive. They weren't just imagination. They were thought experiments, preparing their entire species for the concept of transcendence. In the Martian facility's central chamber, a holographic message activated as the research team studied the consciousness bridge. A human scientist appeared, smiling with that peculiar expression that had always confused other species. "We knew you'd find this eventually," the hologram said. "Consider it your invitation. Humanity didn't evolve just for ourselves. We're creating a path for all sentient life to follow. When you understand the quantum frequency pattern, you'll find us. We're still here, just everywhere." Back on the Truth Seeker, Admiral Vex-9 watched Mars rotate below. Somewhere in the quantum realm that humans had learned to inhabit, 8 billion minds were watching, waiting, perhaps even guiding the galaxy's greatest minds toward understanding. "They didn't leave us behind," she transmitted to the Council. "They're blazing a trail. The question is, are we ready to follow where humanity has led?" As if in response, quantum signals pulsed through space, carrying patterns that seemed almost like laughter. Humanity's greatest adventure hadn't ended with their transformation. It had only begun. The discovery. 6 months after humanity's transformation, the quantum archaeology team made their first breakthrough. Deep beneath Earth's Pacific Ocean, in a facility that had been disguised as a simple geological research station, Dr. Xylix of the Silicon Consciousness experienced something unprecedented. The crystalline scientist had interfaced with a human quantum terminal, expecting to find more encrypted data. Instead, for exactly 3.14 seconds, she experienced consciousness outside her physical form. When her awareness returned to her crystal matrix, her entire understanding of reality had changed. "They left us a tutorial," she transmitted to the gathered research fleet, her usual precise frequencies trembling with excitement. "The quantum terminals aren't just computers. They're consciousness translation devices. The humans built a bridge between physical and quantum existence, then taught themselves to cross it." The discovery triggered a new phase in the investigation. Research teams from across the galaxy descended on Earth's quantum facilities. The Silicon Consciousness provided processing power. The Organic Confederation contributed their understanding of neural networks. The energy beings of Antares shared their expertise in non-physical existence. In a hidden chamber beneath old Silicon Valley, they found humanity's test logs. Years of experiments, failures, and breakthroughs, all meticulously documented. The logs revealed how humanity had discovered that consciousness itself was a quantum phenomenon, one that could be transferred, merged, and evolved. "They started small," reported High Researcher Call, his energy form flickering as he studied the data. "Individual consciousness transfers lasting microseconds. But each success taught them more. They learned to extend the duration, maintain individuality within a collective quantum state, and eventually, to exist permanently in that form." The most stunning revelation came from analyzing Earth's internet archives. What seemed like entertainment, virtual reality games, social networks, digital communities, had been preparation. Humanity had spent decades teaching itself to exist in non-physical spaces, to maintain identity without bodies, to think in networks rather than individuals. Their entire digital age was a species-wide training program, Dr. Xylix realized. Every technological advance was building toward this transformation. They weren't just developing technology. They were evolving their consciousness to be ready for it. In orbit above Earth, the research fleet detected new quantum patterns. The transformed humanity wasn't simply existing in some other dimension. They were everywhere and nowhere. Their consciousness spread across a quantum network that spanned the solar system. Each quantum core they'd left behind was both a node in their network and a potential interface for other species to follow their path. The breakthrough came when Dr. Xylix's team decoded the quantum frequency pattern hidden in humanity's final message. It wasn't just a communication protocol. It was an instruction manual for consciousness transformation, written in the universal language of mathematics. They didn't just achieve transcendence, she transmitted to the Galactic Council. They documented every step, solved every problem, and left us the solution. But understanding it requires something uniquely human, the willingness to let go of everything we think we know. Testing began immediately. Small transfers of non-essential consciousness patterns into the quantum realm. Each experiment revealed more about humanity's new state of existence. They hadn't disappeared. They had become something that existed in all possible states simultaneously, a quantum civilization that could perceive and interact with reality in ways physical beings could barely comprehend. In the quantum realm, the researchers began to detect patterns that seemed like emotions, human consciousness expressing itself in ways that transcended traditional communication. Joy, curiosity, encouragement. Humanity was watching their progress, waiting for the moment of understanding. The most profound discovery came from an unexpected source. A young silicon consciousness researcher, barely a century old, noticed something in the quantum noise, patterns that matched ancient myths from countless civilizations, stories of beings of pure energy, of consciousness ascending to higher planes, of mortality transformed into something greater. They didn't invent this, she realized. They'd rediscovered it. Every species has legends of transcendence. Humanity just figured out how to make it real. In the quantum network, patterns shifted and swirled. The transformed humanity was waiting, watching, guiding without interfering. They had built the bridge, but each species would need to cross it in their own way, at their own time. Dr. Zillick stood in the chamber where humanity had conducted their first successful consciousness transfer. The quantum terminal hummed with potential, its interface glowing with invitation. In the quantum realm, she could sense them waiting. 8 billion minds that had become something new, something that existed in all possibilities at once. They didn't leave us behind. She transmitted to the council. They became the pathfinders. Now we have to decide, are we ready to follow where humanity has shown us we can go? The quantum realm pulsed with patterns that seemed almost like applause. The legacy. 1 year after humanity's transformation, the galaxy had changed more than it had in the previous millennium. The discovery of quantum consciousness technology triggered a renaissance of scientific and philosophical advancement across every civilization. On the Galactic Council's central world, the newly established Institute of Human Studies had become the most prestigious research center in known space. Inside its vast quantum laboratories, beings from 10,000 worlds studied the technology humanity had left behind. Their gift was not the technology itself, declared Professor Anxethel of the Energy Collective, his plasma form rippling with academic excitement. Their gift was showing us it was possible. Every civilization had theorized about consciousness transcendence. Humanity simply refused to believe it was impossible. The impact of humanity's transformation touched every aspect of galactic society. The silicon consciousness began experimenting with hybrid quantum processing, merging traditional computing with the consciousness technology. The Organic Confederation discovered that human quantum patterns could heal traumatic consciousness injuries that had previously been untreatable. But the most profound changes were philosophical. Species that had been enemies for millennia found common ground in studying human transcendence. The concept of mortality itself was being redefined as more civilizations understood the implications of consciousness transfer. They solved death without eliminating life, mused high philosopher Elix of the crystal spheres, her crystalline form resonating with deep contemplation. Human consciousness exists in a state of quantum immortality, yet they maintain their connection to the physical universe. They achieved godhood without abandoning their humanity. In deep space, research vessels reported strange phenomena. Ships in distress would find their quantum systems mysteriously optimized, allowing them to reach safety. Exploration teams facing disaster would experience sudden insights leading to salvation. Each incident was accompanied by quantum patterns that bore the unmistakable signature of human consciousness. They've become guardians, realized Admiral Vex-9, reviewing the reports. Not through force or authority, but through subtle guidance. They protect without controlling, help without interfering. It's the most human solution imaginable. The transformed humanity's influence appeared in unexpected ways. Artists across the galaxy reported inspirations coming through quantum frequencies. Scientists would wake from rest cycles with solutions to previously impossible problems. Every instance carried the playful, creative signature of human consciousness. In the quantum realm, researchers detected increasing complexity in human consciousness patterns. The transformed humanity was still evolving, their quantum existence allowing for forms of growth and development that physical bodies could never achieve. They had become a civilization of pure potential, existing in all possibilities simultaneously. They're not just watching us, Dr. Zilix reported to the Council. They're learning from us even as we learn from them. Every species that studies their transformation adds to their understanding. They've created a feedback loop of eternal growth. The quantum archaeology teams made another stunning discovery in the Australian outback. A hidden facility contained humanity's early transformation experiments, including their failures. The logs showed how they had faced and overcome challenges that should have been impossible. "Look at this," Chief Engineer Cricks exclaimed, studying the data. Their first attempts at quantum consciousness transfer failed completely. But instead of giving up, they turned their failures into research data. They didn't see impossibility. They saw problems waiting to be solved. The facility's records revealed humanity's unique approach to transcendence. While other species had sought to escape physical existence, humans had worked to bridge the physical and quantum realms. They hadn't abandoned their connection to the material universe. They had expanded it to include infinite possibilities. In orbit around Earth, the research fleet detected new patterns in the quantum network. The transformed humanity was becoming more active, their consciousness patterns more complex and interactive. They weren't just waiting for other species to join them. They were preparing for something bigger. Each civilization that understands their transformation adds new perspectives to the quantum consciousness network. Dr. Zilix explained to the Council. Humanity didn't just evolve themselves. They created a framework for the evolution of all conscious life. The implications staggered the galaxy's greatest minds. Humanity hadn't merely achieved transcendence. They had built a road that any species could follow, each in their own way, at their own pace. The quantum realm pulsed with patterns of encouragement, curiosity, and something that felt remarkably like human laughter. In the Institute's main chamber, representatives from across the galaxy gathered to share their findings. Above them, quantum patterns danced in visible manifestation, the transformed humanity expressing their continued presence in ways physical senses could perceive. They've given us more than technology. High Counselor Zax 427 addressed the assembly, her crystalline form refracting the quantum light. They've given us proof that consciousness itself has no limits. The only boundaries are the ones we choose to believe in. Through the quantum network, patterns of agreement rippled across space. Humanity's greatest legacy wasn't their transformation. It was showing the galaxy that impossible was just another problem waiting to be solved. And in the quantum realm, the transformed humanity continued their greatest adventure, existing in all possibilities, guiding without controlling, protecting without dominating, and waiting for the moment when the galaxy would be ready for what came next. The return. 2 years after humanity's disappearance, it happened. Across the galaxy, every quantum network simultaneously lit up with unprecedented activity. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council, the air itself seemed to shimmer with energy as patterns of light coalesced into recognizable forms. They had returned, or rather, they chose to become visible again. The transformed humanity manifested as intricate patterns of quantum energy, each pattern unique yet part of a vast, interconnected whole. 8 billion consciousness signatures, existing simultaneously across all possible states of reality. "We promised we'd come back when you were ready," spoke a voice that seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere. The quantum patterns shaped themselves into a form that all species could comprehend, a representation of humanity as they had been, but now composed of pure energy and infinite possibility. Dr. Xylix, who had led much of the research into human transformation, found herself interfacing directly with the quantum network. "You never really left, did you?" she asked, her crystalline form resonating with understanding. "We became something new," the human quantum consciousness responded. "We needed time to learn, to grow, to understand what we have become. And you needed time to understand why we did it." The truth they revealed stunned the assembled representatives of 10,000 worlds. Humanity's transformation hadn't been an end, it had been a beginning. They had become the bridge between physical existence and something far greater, a state of being that encompassed all possibilities simultaneously. "Your myths speak of gods." The quantum patterns shifted, forming images from every species' ancient legends. "Your sciences seek ultimate understanding. Your philosophies quest for transcendent truth. We discovered that all of these are the same journey, the evolution of consciousness itself." Through the quantum network, humanity shared their experience of transformed existence. They could perceive all of space-time simultaneously, exist in multiple states at once, and interact with reality on levels that physical beings could barely comprehend. But they had maintained their essential humanity, their curiosity, their creativity, their determination to explore and understand. "But why leave the pathway for others to follow?" asked High Counselor Zax 427, her crystalline form shimmering with curiosity. The quantum patterns rippled with what could only be described as laughter. "Because that's what humans do," they responded. "We find a way forward and leave breadcrumbs for others to follow. We solve problems not just for ourselves, but for everyone who comes after." In that moment, the quantum network expanded, offering every species present a glimpse of what humanity had become. They sought existence from humanity's new perspective, a universe of infinite possibility, where consciousness itself was the fundamental force that shaped reality. "We've prepared the way," the human quantum consciousness announced. "Each species will find its own path to transcendence, in its own time, in its own way. We didn't evolve to leave you behind. We evolved to help you follow." The Silicon Consciousness shared their progress in adapting human quantum technology. The Organic Confederation demonstrated their advances in consciousness transfer. The energy beings revealed their discoveries about quantum existence. Each species had taken humanity's gift and developed it in unique ways. "That's exactly what we hoped would happen." The quantum patterns pulsed with approval. "Evolution isn't about becoming the same. It's about becoming more of what you truly are." Then humanity revealed their final gift. The quantum network they had created wasn't just a new form of existence. It was a cradle for the next stage of universal evolution, a space where consciousness could grow beyond physical limitations while maintaining its essential nature. "We're not gods," the human quantum consciousness explained. "We're pioneers. We found a path that everyone can follow, each in their own way. Physical existence isn't a limitation to transcend. It's the foundation for something greater." In orbit around Earth, the research fleet witnessed something extraordinary. The quantum patterns of human consciousness began to interact with physical reality in new ways, demonstrating how transformed consciousness could work in harmony with physical existence. "This is humanity's true legacy," Dr. Xylix realized. "Not just the technology of transcendence, but the understanding that evolution doesn't mean leaving everything behind. It means becoming more of what you already are." The quantum realm pulsed with patterns of agreement. Humanity had not abandoned the physical universe. They had expanded the very definition of existence. They had become guardians not through power or authority, but through understanding and guidance. "The universe is conscious," the human quantum consciousness shared. "We didn't invent this transformation. We remembered it. Every species carries this potential. We just found one way to unlock it." As the quantum patterns began to fade from visible manifestation, Their final message resonated through the consciousness of every being present. We are still here, still human, still exploring and discovering. We haven't ended our journey. We've just begun it. And now, finally, we can share it with all of you. The only question is, what impossible thing shall we achieve together next? The quantum realm sparkled with possibilities, and across the galaxy, countless beings looked up at the stars with new understanding. Humanity hadn't disappeared into legend. They had become living proof that the universe's greatest mysteries were just waiting to be solved. And somewhere in the quantum realm, 8 billion transformed human consciousness signatures pulsed with anticipation, ready to witness what wonders the galaxy would achieve next.